Hello and welcome to Native Speakers Academy's Underground Education. My name is G and I am your host. Just a reminder that this is designed to be a short digital media netcast in which we look at different issues related to education, schools, society, and learning in general. Our aim is to highlight ideas that empower you to take more control of your own life. And so today we have an article by Kenneth Robertson. The title is 7 Strategies for Teaching Self-Control to Children with Behavioral Problems. And the source is KennethRobertsonPhD.com. And you can find more information about the author on his site. He's a San Francisco psychologist. And remember that links to the sources can be found in the description connected to this post online. And if you want, you can use the link to read through the article with me. So let's get into the article itself. 7 strategies for teaching self-control to children with behavioral problems. When it comes to behavioral problems in children, defiance, tantrums, rebelliousness, and aggression are especially trying. These behaviors and others that break rules or values that are important to families typically happen when children do not have the self-control to act appropriately and constructively. So here is a list of strategies that parents can use to teach children more effective self-control over emotions and behavior. Number 1. Give them words. In the midst of emotional turmoil, using words to express oneself often goes out the window. Help children learn to recognize the troubling emotions they are feeling before having an outburst or tantrum. You get mad when you don't get to decide what to do. Is a simple statement that speaks to children's resentment and helps them feel less out of control. Parents can also help children learn to use phrases that promote self-control, like, "I would like it now, but I can wait until later." "I can share this with you," and "I'll ask again some other time." Teaching impulsive and rebellious children to use words to express their feelings is an important goal for child psychologists. Number 2. Ignore and redirect. Sometimes the simple act of ignoring a behavior will make it disappear. Repeatedly saying, "Stop doing that," unwittingly encourages the wrong behavior by providing the attention children crave. Instead, ignore it, focus on something else, and then pay attention to children when they do the right thing. The point is to recognize and concentrate on desirable behavior and discourage undesirable behavior. Among other things, this shows how focusing on positive behavior can minimize behavioral problems. Number 3. Don't dictate, negotiate. Even young children like to feel they have a choice rather than being forced to do something. Looking for a mutually satisfying agreement makes everyone feel like part of the solution to a problem. And being a part of the solution creates cooperation. Successful negotiation occurs when parents choose options for their children that are acceptable to both. Asking children to do something that is intolerable or too difficult doesn't provide a reasonable and acceptable choice. Remember to give children a choice only when they truly have one. Negotiating teaches children that compromise is a more likely road to success than impulsivity and defiance. Number 4, smart rewards. The goal of building self-control is for children to learn to consider the consequences of their actions before they act and to care enough to stop themselves before they do. Consequences are most effective when they are closely tied to the misbehavior and when they solve problems that the misbehavior has caused. Taking away TV privileges for stealing is not as effective as having your child return the stolen property and pay for damages. Fair consequences make the lesson more understandable. Consequences that don't relate to the lesson leave children confused about the connection between behavior and rewards. This does little to improve self-control. As a child psychologist, my first and most important piece of advice to parents of children with behavioral problems is to use consequences that fit the behavior problem. Number 5, take breaks. Encouraging children who are frustrated, angry, rebellious or aggressive to take a break and leave the situation for a moment is a powerful way to help them learn self-control. Create a quiet place at home where an out-of-control child can calm down. It can be a pillow-filled corner in the living room or a cozy spot in the children's bedroom. By providing a safe, calming sanctuary, parents can teach children there's a way and a place to collect themselves when things get out of control. 6. Set up success. Setting simple, achievable goals positions children for success. Being successful helps them learn what focus and self-control can achieve. For preschoolers, appropriate goals might be not interrupting or not fighting with siblings. For elementary school children, using words to express anger rather than hitting might be appropriate. And number 7, pick your battles. Some issues just aren't worth fighting over. Parents may feel as if they are giving in, but there are times when children are carrying on about issues that are not worth a drawn-out conflict. Parents should prioritize and decide what's important. Arguing over what a 15-year-old wears, as long as it fits some general rules of decency, is probably not as important as setting and enforcing a curfew. Knowing which behaviors are important to you and which are relatively insignificant teaches similar values to children and helps them learn self-restraint with their own emotions and behavior. So, what advantages does this bring? Good emotional control and effective problem-solving skills are keys to success. Children who develop self-control early on are more successful academically and socially, link provided, and adults who learned self-control as children tend to be healthier, better adjusted socially, and more financially well off, link provided. No doubt, self-control skills help children and their families in numerous ways. If your child continues to have difficulties with behavioral problems, consider consulting a child psychologist. And so that article was written by Kenneth Robertson, PhD, and it has the title 7 Strategies for Teaching Self-Control to Children with Behavioral Problems. To sum up, his 7 ideas are: give them words, provide them with the vocabulary that they need to express themselves, especially if it defers the feeling and gives young people an opportunity to think about the situation and calm down. Number 2 was ignore and redirect. Trying to focus on the positive elements of character are very important for children, and remembering to praise them, not overpraise them, just praise them correctly when they do something right is extremely important. And try to avoid using a lot of negative sentences and no, no, no. It's not really going to help. Number 3 was don't dictate, negotiate, encourage the children to become involved in the negotiation, to solve the problem, get their opinion. Don't dictate everything to them. And remember that your skills of negotiation will be picked up by your child as well. So the better negotiator that you become, the better negotiation your children will be. The 4th element was smart rewards. Make sure the reward or even the punishment fit the crime, as they say. Try to make sure that there's a balance between the action and the consequence of the action, which is quite difficult to do and very, very individual, I think. Number 5 was take breaks. Make sure that the children have some time to themselves. You can even prepare a special place. How about a book reading corner in a room, for example? I remember that when my son was 3 years old and sometimes he almost lost his temper, he liked to go and sit on some stairs that we have in the house by himself for a little while. And when he felt he was ready to come back, he would just come back. And he made that decision all by himself. Number 6 was set up success. Make sure you have achievable goals. And small targets can work for that. And it's not a bad idea to have some long-term goals as well, so that they learn that not all rewards come instantly. And the final one was pick your battles. And for me personally, what this means is that knowing what you can't do is just as important as knowing what you can do. So I hope this has given you something to think about. As usual, thank you for your attention. I'd like to remind you that Native Speakers Academy is a small independent centre for educational theory and research. You can support us by visiting our websites nsa-slovakia.com or nsa-education.com, and you can also find us all over the internet on Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest and Google+, for example. If you liked this article, then please feel free to share the original, or you can even share this with your friends online. I hope to talk to you again soon, and until then, stay safe, have a good day, and bye for now.